Another day, another assessment of this New York Jets roster. We have another position to break down all around. Bring your boys to Funky Town. Don't know what that means, but it rhymes, so I had to roll with it. Come on now. We are live for the greatest 3 p.m. show of all time. It is Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, right. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets! Let's go! J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets! Let's go! There you go, Woody!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, the Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Woody, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
Meets Wudi. Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy, James Wudi, and you already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. You know, my favorite thing is when the comments say off the bat, and that's exactly what's happening. Come on now, greatest 3 p.m. show. Come on now. Hey, fellers, we out here. Hep, Craig, I see you in the building. It's time. Over here. He got his hair combed to the left. Or is that to the right? I don't know the way cameras work. You know, right is left, right, left. He is the boy who became king, none other than Mr. Paul Esden Jr. How you doing, my good sir?
Well, I'm doing dandy, a little peachy. Thanks for asking, Woody. I'm taking my mom out to dinner. So people say at CBW, no hat day. Yeah, because if I put on the hat, then it gets the hair all askew. So I'm in the nice button-up shirt. Normally don't dress up, but yes, I'm taking my mama out for a birthday dinner. She has flown into town for a different reason, but because she's here is a better excuse than any to take my mom out to dinner. So I'll be doing that a little bit later this evening. Yes.
Yes, happy birthday, mama. Shout out to Craig. You know, I know we got people that enjoy, watching the show, but for this man to have us over the Olympics, okay, Olympics going on, we out here, we all Team USA. Come on now, USA, and he out here choosing our audio over the Olympic audio. That means the world to us. Appreciate you big time.
That's a big stuff for us to live up to here. You know what I'm talking about there, Woody? It is. Hey. So without further ado, I think we can say this together. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man.
I am a real the audio is a little.
Fight for what's right.
Fight for your life. Okay. Hey, yes. It crashing down and it hurts inside. Yo. Yes, sir. We out here. We definitely out here.
There you go. So appreciate y'all in the audience. Thank you so much. So F the Olympics. Beautiful. That's very nice of you guys to do for us. So hopefully we can live up to that billing, Woody, because there's nothing more American than a fresh six-pack of Jets tight end talk. So let's dive into the deep end of the pool, Woody. And actually, this is going to be, this next bit, which is hopefully informational for all you guys in the audience. We've been doing a series here every Tuesday and Thursday. Sans breaking news of breaking down the roster. Position of choice today is tight end for the Jets. We'll tell you the free agents that are set to leave. The Jets could prevent that, of course, with any extension. And also on the other side, the free agents or the tight ends rather, that remain, that are currently signed to the roster. So without further ado, Woody, this is a little Nest quick, but we go to this list here for the green and white, and well, the tight ends that are set to exit stage left, it's a 2-pack. Jelani Woods and Stone Smart. Stone Smart, the former college quarterback that converted to tight end in the National Football League, and Jelani Woods was a fun one. Yeah,
that's too much introduction for Stone Smart. All right, he can just say Stone Smart, Gelato Woods. These are just dudes that are in the NFL. That's what they are. For who knows how long?
Wow.
So
well, I'll say this on Stone Smart. This conversation's pretty quick. I think he's moving on. No offense. Jelani Woods is the one that I think a lot of fans are excited about because he's a former highly sought after prospect come out of the draft. He has great size at 6'7", 250, but we barely ever saw him on the field. He was a healthy scratch more times than not. And when he eventually got on the field, we didn't see him. So he was just on the field in such a way that he wasn't targeted out until late in the season. So Jelani looks great in Madden, but unfortunately that never translated to the field, Woody. So this may be a Jets just decide to move on situation.
Yeah, you bugging because his rating is definitely like a 69 or like 68 in Madden. So doesn't even look great there. So this is just a quick little.
Oh, damn. Oh, wow.
Situation. Yeah. I mean, we already spent too much time on these random dudes that mean nothing to us.
All right. Well, let's spend a little bit more time on the memberships rating.
Hey,
baby. Look at this. DIY for life. Number one Austrian Jet. Number one Austrian Jet fan said, I'll take the rest of that 6-pack. He takes 5.
Hey.
In terms of the sharing, the splitting of the pie, but first come, first serve, baby. Let's freaking go.
Number 44. Woo! 44, that's me. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts. Woo! Give me some.
There we go, baby. A bunch of new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, which we appreciate out there in the audience. Again, 1 raffle ticket for DNY for life, 5 more for number one Austrian Jet fan. All of those memberships went to the following people. DNY for life went to Pawchain. Appreciate that. Number one Austrian Jet fan, yours went to Chad Nicholas, Leppy, Vladdy P. the Goat, Jug Artist 14, and B. Barnesy 89 are on now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Baby, very nice. Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to the new members. Welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. You're in good hands with some great people. So shout out to the new members. Just wanted to also echo this. I also would much rather have Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? Stone Cold Steve Austin play tight end than Stone Smart. Definitely would rather have that happen. So had to echo that comment. Fantastic comment in the chat.
For sure. And by the way, for those who forget, Stone Smart's middle name is Stone Cole Smart.
Oh, is that true? Damn, that's crazy.
100%. It's hilarious. I don't know if his parents did that on purpose. I imagine they would have had to. Stone Cold Smart. That is, in fact, his real name. So you guys can hit that with the Goog search. That may be the most time Stone Smart's ever been Googled in his life. That is true. Yeah, people are going, what? Yep, that's true. So Stone Cold Smart. That also could have been for Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? That could have also been in there for that. So appreciate that. Thank you. That is true. So these are the tight ends that are exiting stage left, which leaves us to the room. Unfortunately, it's a Will Smith gif. Where the hell else is everybody? Mason Taylor and Jeremy Ruckert stand alone. Ruckert would have been on the previous slide, of course, but Ruckert signed a nice extension at the end of the season, excuse me. So shout out to Jeremy. So Jeremy and Mason are both under contract. That is our 2, and I like the 2. But I think, Woody, I don't know how often we agree, but I think this room needs a little bit more TLC.
Sorry, the way you said that was fantastic. 10 out of 10. Yeah, we like Ruckert. Shout out another 2022 draft class member to get extended. You know, a lot of extensions being handed to that class, even if they get traded to the Colts a little bit later after the extension. It still counts. That extension,
Sure.
you know, we got some solid players. So shout out to Ruckert. Mason Taylor, obviously our guy, drafted second round last year. So you know, we that's a super high investment. So he wasn't gonna go anywhere. Ruckert, if he was on the previous slide, I would have said pretty much the same things, like, you know, positive things, you know, nothing but love and respect for him. But they decided to pay him. So that's nice. But, you know, is this Gronk and Aaron Hernandez? Can't say it is, respectfully.
Yeah. Respectfully, I appreciate that being added to the back end there. Again, Ruckert, and a lot of people make jokes about this when I say this, but it is true. He's coming off a career season. Now you look at the numbers, and you're like, what kind of career season is this? That may say less about what he had done the previous 3 seasons, but nonetheless, a career season, catches, yards. He got his first touchdown of his career, which was pretty cool. So shout out to Jeremy. He had no drops last season, so Jeremy bounced back in a big way. So good for Jeremy. But again, as we're about to discuss, the Jets need some more love in the room. By the way, Austrian Jet fan, you're up to 40 raffle tickets. DIY for life, you're up to 9. Thank you very much. Woody, I love playing this game. Let's start off with the draft. Okay, Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 big board. How many tight ends do you think are Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 big board for the 2026 NFL draft? How many, Woody?
I'm going to go with 2.
The answer is 1. There is
Damn.
1.
Bro, I mean, one. That's so crazy because there's one that's in my head. So I was thinking, oh, there's probably another one, you know, and that's why I said 2. And then the last time when it was 5, I was like, oh, 5 sounds like it's too many. Let me just say 4. So both times I'm just I'm one off, and it makes me very upset. But yeah, I guess we could talk about that one. He's a beast. I can't lie. I feel like the last 3 years there's just one beast tight end that you know, just captivates the world.
Yeah. Although last year I loved that there was Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. That was a lot of fun to have those 2 guys at the top. And I'll give you a chance at redemption, Woody, in a second. I will give you a chance at redemption. But yes, the only tight end on Daniel Jeremiah's big board is Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. He's 21st on the big board. That's of any position, of course. So he is 21st on the big board for Daniel Jeremiah. Now, because we've started this series, Woody, and I want to be consistent and I don't want to throw you off, we're going to keep using Daniel Jeremiah's big board for the rest of the way we do this series before free agency. However, Dane Brugler of The Athletic just revealed a top 100 big board. And so I will give you a second chance.
Damn.
I'll give you a second opportunity. You feel so bad that you messed up and, you know, you disrespected your entire family with that.
I didn't say none of these words.
But I will give you a chance at redemption to redeem the name of the Wudi family and the Wudi clan.
Damn.
Your chances now. How many tight ends are in Dane Brugler's top 100? Now I'm giving you another 50 spots. How many tight ends are in the top 100?
This is an apples and oranges comparison. Like you said, we was using, you know, I'm thinking about Daniel Jeremiah's brain. I'm thinking about, you know, the 50, what we've already said. So now this is completely uncharted waters. So this has nothing to do with, you know, you out here, you put on that button shirt, then you started putting words in my mouth. Hey, come on now. So this is just a complete blind guess. Obviously, our guy Sadiq is on there. I'm gonna say 3.
Yeah, 5, baby. 5.
God damn, he bugging. I need to know, in honor of our guy Gohan Angered, is the tight end from Georgia on that list? We need to know.
Is the tight end from Georgia on this list of the top 100 from none other than Dane Brugler? No, the Georgia tight end is not on this list. He's not in the top 100. He's not in the top 50. He ain't nowhere. He is MIA. If we're continuing to use, little
in our hearts.
Yeah, of course. God bless, you know, with all due respect. But what I will say, the interesting thing to compare the top 50 of Daniel Jeremiah to the top 100 of Dane Brugler is the gap of tight ends, right? So Kenyon Sadiq is number 1, quote unquote, on both lists of being the top ranked tight end. That's not a surprise, but it shows the seismic gap. It appears to be Kenyon Sadiq and then everyone else. On Daniel Jeremiah's big board, Kenyon Sadiq is 21. On Dane Brugler's big board, Kenyon Sadiq is 20. So they sort of view him the same. Top 20, top 21 player. The next closest tight end on Dane Brugler's list is 48. There's a 28 spot gap between tight end 1 and tight end 2, which suggests everything we just said. The other tight ends, real quick, on Dane Brugler's top 5 beyond Kenyon Sadiq, the very talented tight end out of Oregon who was catching a lot of passes from Dante Moore. Eli Stowers, tight end out of Vanderbilt. You have Max Clare, tight end out of Ohio State. Justin Jolly, tight end out of NC State. And then Michael Trigg, tight end out of Baylor. Those are the other tight ends on the list. So again, the Jets may have to strike early with a one tight end race, and you get that one quick, or you try to wait for the depth of the class and go later, although it doesn't seem like a lot of people love this tight end class beyond Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Based on the makeup of the team and everything we got going on, I would completely ignore the tight end position in the draft. I'm not looking for anyone. If Mason wasn't on the team, then, Sadiq, maybe something worth looking at with 16, on the 16th pick. But Mason's on the team, and the defense, I've gone on record many times saying I want to go defense. If we didn't get defense those first 4 picks, I would be the happiest dude in the world. So maybe not in the world, but like the happiest dude like in my town for that night.
Well, how many people are in your town?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question.
We'll probably have that for the next time. We'll get that trivia in. I will say this. Yes, everyone's bringing up Mason Taylor. He was a top 50 pick last year. I'm encouraged by Mason Taylor. He was a few receptions away from setting the rookie franchise single season record for a rookie tight end, which is cool. And there was encouraging signs, but I'm not walking away saying, boom, bona fide stud. I don't know if I could quite go that way based on what we saw, but I'm very encouraged. And if Mason Taylor, Jeremy Ruckert are the top 2 tight ends on the Jets in 2026, so be it. But I don't want to speak for Wudi here, but when this topic came up and we're setting it up, the way that Wudi responded, I have an inkling that we will feel similarly as we discuss the free agent options and our potential intrigue of diving on in. So let's get into it, Wudi. Let's talk about some of the moves that the Jets could make. So we go to the top 50 big board from ESPN. They rank the top 50 free agents that are going to be be available here, Wudi.
Let me backtrack real quick because
sure. Go ahead.
For me, I personally, I am high on Mason Taylor. I think he has great hands. They coming into the league, they were talking about, plus athleticism. He's way more athletic than your average tight end. I don't think we saw that a lot. I was looking around the league and I saw Harold Fannin Jr. moving. I saw this dude, Oronde Gadsden, out here, catching 30-yard bombs or, some 30-yard passes from Justin Herbert. I can't say I've seen like elite burst from like Mason Taylor or anything like that, that I saw for some other people, but he had very sure hands, caught a lot of passes in tight windows. Like if the Jets, were a team that had, a lot of passing touchdowns, like let's say the team threw for 20 passing touchdowns, I think Mason Taylor would have walked away with like 6 or 7 of them, because he is that sure-handed. So in short yardage situations, the one catch he did make, the touchdown from Brees, that was over somebody's back. When people are on his back, he's a great, we've seen time and time again, he's a fantastic contested catch artist. So I think with an offense that has way more volume, he's going to look way better. And I think that touchdown number is going to skyrocket. Like, I really think that's somebody who can end up leading this team in touchdowns with a respectable number. Granted that we have a QB. I mean, we have a QB that threw for 10 touchdowns. So we cannot, look at what Mason did and say, oh, damn, he stinks. So I am higher on Mason than you are, Boy Green.
Boy, that Jet season prediction show ahead of 2026.
I don't know about this season. We got to wait for Mike Tomlin to come through or Sean McDermott, and then we'll see what happens.
All right, Wudi, I'll give you a chance for the top 50 big board. Another chance to redeem the name of you and your family. How many tight ends are in the top 50 ESPN big board for free agents the pro personnel market. How many tight ends crack the list?
I was looking at this. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is in there.
Okay.
It would kind of be ridiculous if Travis Kelce was in there, but he probably is also in there. David Njoku, Dallas Goedert. These are some dudes that can be in there. So I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with all 4 of the names I just said and say 4 final answer.
Okay. Well, the final answer is 3, Wudi. It's 3. But if I gave honorable mention, because they do have an honorable mention section at the bottom, there is a 4th player, but outside the top 50. So I could, squint and say, you know what, that Wudi guy. I could do that. But let's go through those names, Wudi. You mentioned them. Some of the names you mentioned did not crack the top 50. So you may get
really.
You may get surprised apparently by some of the names that we're going to go through here on this list. Let's go to the top tight end ranked on this list, and it's not Kyle Pitts.
What?
Okay, yep. He is on this list, but he's not the top tight end ranked on this list.
Yes. I understand what top means. That's true.
Okay, good. Just for those that didn't have a Merriam-Webster dictionary at hand, I provide that for you. Isaiah Likely is the 20th ranked player on the list by ESPN. He will be 26 by the start of the 2026 season. Of course, the Ravens have clearly made their choice. They paid Mark Andrews, his old ass, on a contract extension, which makes Isaiah likely to hit free agency because of his expendable nature. Isaiah likely to hit the open market. Do you have intrigue in the big tight end from Baltimore with a B?
as opposed to Baltimore with the P. Definitely have interest in Isaiah Likely. He has looked really good in Baltimore. Even regardless if Mark Andrews is on the field or not. Dude has great size, fantastic athleticism. He actually reminds me of somebody else that we might end up talking about in David Njoku in terms of just the sheer athleticism. That he moves like a wide receiver, but he is a tight end. He is the size of a tight end. And I think we talked about Gronk and Hernandez, Likely and Mason, Likely could be that guy who is catching those 30-yard bombs that I've been seeing other teams do. And then Mason, the red zone threat. And that's kind of how they actually were used in Baltimore, where Likely was, when we're moving the chains, Likely's on the field, and then Mark Andrews still securing those touchdowns. So that would be a great get. Spot Track got him at $8 million per year with the money that the Jets have. I think that's I would do 3 years, 24 without hesitation.
Isaiah Leroy Likely is a free agent. And I will tell you this, again, I am with Wudi. I get that we have other needs, wide receiver, this need, that need. I'd be intrigued to add a pass-catching, yin-yang to Mason Taylor. Mason, you mentioned he has really good hands, but, if you look at his LSU career, he was never this video game monster number guy that put up a lot of these stats. He's just a sort of all-around really good tight end. So if you could get a dynamic receiving threat, that could even open up more stuff for Mason, and maybe they could balance each other very well. So Isaiah, quite frankly, really intrigues me. I'd be all over Isaiah. If the Jets made that choice, they did a double dip a few years ago when they went Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah, which did not have the results I'm sure they were hoping for. But if you did that with top 50 pick Mason from last year and then incorporated in with a sizable investment this year, that's something that would really intrigue me. By the way, real quick, I know this is off topic. DIY for Life, Devin, we will get your topic before the end of the show. I'll go back to the Derek Carr super chat. We'll end the show on that, I promise. We'll finish off tight ends, and then we'll come back to that super chat. So thank you so much for sending that along. Let's get another tight end on the list, Wudi, that you seemed heartbroken. Wasn't number one on the list, perhaps number one in your heart. Kyle Pitts is ranked 23 on the list. He will be 25 by the start of the 2026 season. So young and hitting the open market. I mean, the size is incredible. And I just had him on my fantasy team last year, and he nearly led me to a fantasy championship. Unfortunately, I lost in the fantasy championship game. But Kyle Pitts did some work for me in fantasy, and I've always been intrigued by Kyle Pitts. Sign me the hell up for some Kyle Pitts. You want to jump in?
Kyle Pitts, in terms of physical traits and abilities, is damn near generational. That's why I was surprised. It's not that I'm like a super big fan, although I will admit in 2021 when I was expecting the New York Jets to trade that second pick, I was hoping they would draft Kyle Pitts. And I know there's a lot, Penei Sewell would have been nice. Waddle is a name that they talked about. But Darnold had such an affinity at that time for tight ends, got Ryan Griffin paid. That's a name that no one has ever heard before that extension and after that extension. But Darnold was finding him for touchdowns. I thought him and Kyle Pitts would have been like the next Brady and Gronk, like just an elite QB tight end duo. Obviously, none of that came to fruition. But yeah, Kyle Pitts, in terms of physical traits, he's generational. I think he is fantastic because of that, and I think he does have more name value than likely. I think he will be a lot pricier. I think it's a harder negotiation, and that's why I don't. And like obviously, way more suitors as well. So I'm thinking that's more of a far cry. Even Spot Track had likely at 8. They have Kyle Pitts close to 11. So they recognize.
Wow.
Yeah, they recognize what I recognize, and I know he's going to be the belle of the ball. A whole lot of people calling him, so that I don't see happening the way that maybe we can sneak in and give likely a solid deal.
For those who don't know, on Kyle Pitts, I know did he help out my fantasy team. He was a second team All-Pro last year. He's coming off a career year, man. He put up some serious numbers. So shout out to Kyle Pitts, getting some All-Pro respect from this past season. So again, Kyle Pitts on the list. And the name you didn't mention, the one that's slipping under the radar, is Get Chiggy with it. Chig Okonkwo of the Tennessee Titans will be 27 by the start of the 2026 season. A 6'3", 238-pound tight end who is a bit of a movement guy in the passing game for the Tennessee Titans. Are you getting jiggy with it?
No.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm literally like, I know he played some games.
Yes, he did. Can't confirm.
Yeah, I'm not sure like what the hype is. Like why you're saying he is next on the list after Kyle Pitts? Like that's
39th on the list. So I guess there's a sizable gap between them. I'm not trying to misrepresent that he's higher, but he's 39th on the 50-man big board. Yep.
Yeah, to me that's crazy. I'm looking at his numbers right now. These are Tyler Conklin numbers. Well, I guess he's not playing a lot of. Oh, no, yeah, he is playing 17 games. Yeah, so he's playing 17 games this season with Tyler Conklin numbers. I'm not seeing why we would be hyped. And that's not even disrespect to like Conklin. Like I enjoyed his 500 yards, and sometimes he would score touchdowns a year, and that's exactly what Chig is doing. Like, but
you're throwing a challenge flag on him being a top 40 free agent.
Exactly. Yeah. How is that better than Travis Kelce right now? That's crazy.
Yeah, Kelce, spoiler alert, did not make the list, so he's not on the list at all for this list. The honorable mention player, because we got to the 3 in the top 50, is Dallas Goedert. He is on the outside looking in of the top 50 there of the Philadelphia Eagles. So honorable mention for Dallas Goedert. Pour one out.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert is way better than Chig Okonkwo. I feel like that's somebody who the Jets really should think about targeting. He might actually be my top choice.
Wow.
Is he older? Yeah, but tight ends, like Zach Ertz, just he's 55 years old and he has been having great seasons for the Commanders. Mm-hmm. For the Jaden Daniels era. Dallas Goedert is someone who's 31, still super productive for the Eagles last year. And again, that osmosis of having veterans in the building, you want to get the right veterans. This dude, Dallas Goedert, is somebody who can still be productive for the team. Yeah. And then also set an example for the two young boys, Ruckert and Taylor, on just how to prepare, how to attack the game, all that type of stuff. So I think it's the best of both worlds. Obviously, would likely be super fun. Yeah, of course. But I think in terms of team development, team fit, what they need, and what's going to help them long term. I think the best you can do is Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting about Goddard, right? You look at his career, and he's been highly productive for a long time. Never like 1,000 yards or anything like that, but look at his touchdowns, right, throughout his career: 4, 5, 3, 4, 3, 3, 2, 11. Whoa, what the? Yeah, he got 11 this past season. So it's a beep, 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 beep. It's a whoa, hey now. So that's an outlier, but hey, Dallas, you picked a great time to get your touchdowns up right before free agency. Dollar bills, y'all. So we'll see if that is an immediate translation there for old Goddard for getting that on the list. But that is all the tight ends on the list. Is there anything else tight end wise you want to mention before we wrap up there with DNY for Life's Derek Carr comment?
Well, Njoku, right? He said he's done with the Browns.
With Cleveland, right.
He's upset, that Fanning is out here doing work. He don't want to Aaron Hernandez. He just want to be his own dude. He's talented. He's really good. He's gonna be 30. So kind of similar to Goddard, but I don't know if that temperament is something that how that would work in the locker room if he's talking about me. Like we literally have a young tight end who will be getting snaps in Mason Taylor. So if Fannin is bothering him that much, it's probably not going to work out here. But I would say, Njoku, Tyler Higbee, who has been making a living catching passes from Matthew Stafford for quite some time, is also, I think, somebody worth mentioning. But, that's like a lesser of the Dallas Goedert category. This is a veteran. They still are producing. And the young boys can learn something from him, but obviously he's not producing at the Dallas Goedert level. And our boy Tyler Conklin himself is actually here.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Another name. We talking about Derek Carr is his old boy Foster Moreau.
Oh wow.
Who, was playing for the Saints. He had some productive games. Low key, my only memory watching him, he dropped a game-winning touchdown. He was in the end zone wide open, and Derek Carr threw it to him, and he dropped it. But all good. People move on past that, and if Derek Carr is on the team, maybe that's a move that they make.
Well, let's give a huge shout out. The thing I remember most about Foster Moreau, and I'm not sure he wants to be forever, connected to this, but he was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma back in 2023, and he announced in the summer of 2023 that his cancer was in full remission. So a magical story of overcoming, like the worst disease on planet Earth, cancer. So a big shout out to Foster Moreau from that perspective. David Njoku, just to your point, a quick comment on him. David Njoku ahead of the trade deadline was a popular name getting thrown around, and David Njoku talked about in his public media availability that he loves Cleveland. He doesn't care what anyone says about Cleveland. He doesn't want to go anywhere, and he wants to stay there forever. So obviously something changed over the coming months, and maybe it's just Harold Fannin Jr.'s production, but Harold Fannin was super productive in the beginning of the year too when David was making these comments. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but the fact that, even though Cleveland hasn't done a lot of winning, that didn't seem to bother him. And again, I want to, of course, every team in the world, every player should want to win as many games as possible. But I was always in love with the David Njoku abilities, which are great. So if he doesn't mind coming to a team that doesn't have a rich history of winning and would love to be part of the turnaround, that would be something pretty cool too. Again, to your point, temperament, we'll have to sort of get a temperature gauge perhaps on that. But you did bring up Carr, so let's bring it up. A super chat coming here from DNY for Life. Let's work this into the mix. Wow. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Another raffle ticket for you, Devin. Derek Carr says he loves the Jets and their fans. Thoughts? Yes, on his podcast, a clip from December has resurfaced where they were all wearing Christmas gear, and he was thanking Jet fans because during the season we were all tanking for Trevor Lawrence. The Raiders made this improbable comeback against the Jets where Derek Carr hit a streaking. Actually, I should probably rephrase how I say that because of everything that happened. Yeah, Henry Ruggs. I was about to say a speeding Henry Ruggs down the field, but that's probably too soon. Yes, he did
In
hit
like
him.
5 years.
Yeah, but I think it's more so, like he's in prison for speeding, so and everything else that occurred there. So I should probably pull that car over. That's another thing. Jesus, I just need to say
No,
what's on
just
my
say the
mind and stop
words.
saying
Say the words. It's
Stop
all
saying
good.
phrases. Every time I
It's
say
all good.
phrases, I'm never mind. Yes, Derek Carr said that, him throwing that touchdown against the Jets and then, in theory, beating the Jets where Jet fans should be upset. Instead, he was getting all these charitable donations saying, thanks for beating us, Bounty. Went, what the? Because they were trying to tank for Trevor Lawrence. So he says, forever I have this funny love for Jet fans because they raised all this money for my charity of choice. And also, he remembers fondly the 2023 pursuit where the Jets went all in to get him, and then it just didn't work out. So, yeah, Derek Carr says he loves Jet fans, loves AG. They must have. No, that couldn't have been in New Orleans. So I don't know where they would have connected off the top of my head. I can't remember. Maybe just in games that they played against each other, I guess. But he says he loves AG too. So yes, we'll go to you first, Woody. What do you make of that?
If Derek Carr were to come out of retirement, I personally believe that would be the top QB option available.
Wow. Okay.
The other options are Malik Willis, saying Mag, it's not a great, and that's why to me Kyler is so hot, because he's really the only starting caliber quarterback. Even Kirk Cousins right now, he wasn't that good last year, but we're all hoping that one additional year removed from the Achilles, like Rodgers was, he would be better. But that's an assumption. Derek Carr, his last year wasn't bad. If he played how he played his last year, this year in 2026, he would be breaking Jets records. So right off the bat, that should tell you why it would be beneficial. Just Google Derek Carr's season stats and choose any season after his rookie season. You're finding a season that would be top 3 all time for the New York Jets. So I think that would actually kind of be a huge get, especially if you are like me and do not believe in the current head coach. Now you have a QB that can be a bridge quarterback for your Arch Manning, it would be crazy to draft Dante Moore, but whoever that next QB is that's drafted in 2027, you have one of the best possible veterans in that room. Derek Carr, everyone always talks about how nice of a guy he is, but he also is talented on the field. Got his QB coach in the building. I think it would make a lot of sense for us. I don't know if it makes as much sense to him to, he's sitting at home, he's enjoying life, to just come back and just be a loser, for however many seasons. But for us, it makes it is the best. It would be hard to even make up a better situation than getting Derek Carr out of retirement for 2 years, having him play and having him mentor the 2027 draft pick.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I was pretty surprised. So a week ago or so, was it Super Bowl Sunday? It may have come out Super Bowl Sunday, so maybe it wasn't a week ago. But Super Bowl Sunday, whenever it was, the NFL Network report said, wow, teams have done homework on Derek Carr to see if he would come out of retirement, and Derek Carr has strongly considered it. So it's been a two-way street about doing it. And there have been so many Jets people. I know one off the top of my head. I'm not trying to call this person out, but Will Parkinson was one that I saw, and a bunch of other people went, hell no. What a terror. Before you even ask, hell no, that'd be terrible. And I'm looking around going, I guess I'm supposed to be going with the rave here, but terrible. No way. Have you looked at the Jets quarterback room? Have you looked at who's available? What do you mean, no way? Excuse me? I'm I've seen the same numbers you have, Woody. Derek Carr would immediately surge to a top option. The Saints hold his rights, so you'd have to probably throw him a 7 or a 6, but okay. for Derek Carr, like, who cares? You have a bunch of late round picks, so that's nothing to me. And you figure it out. He unretires. You obviously have to recalibrate the contract. You retire with 2 years left, I believe, or it was 1 or 2 years left on that $150 million deal. So you got to rearrange all that to figure out what it looks like in a post-retirement world, or unretirement world rather, for him to come back. But no, I'd be super for it. I think it, to Woody's point, should be among the top options for the Jets to consider. There's a lot of things to consider: trade, free agency, draft. There's probably a little bit of A, B, and C that you got to figure out. So yes, Derek Carr would certainly surge on the list. We had a full Boy Green Daily episode on it, talking about his connections with Bill Musgrave and some of the career numbers he put up with Bill, maybe his 2 best years in the league. So good super chat. And I know off topic, but still, DIY for life. You guys can always send in super chats or comments on any of our shows for that. With that being said, I got to go take my mama out to a nice, restaurante and for her birthday. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Woody, feel free to give a shout out to any of your TFT people. We're streaming live in 5 different destinations and all the people that watch after the fact.
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually utterly ashamed because I have not looked at the Instagram tab in a little bit. But, shout out to you guys for watching. Of course, Take Flight Talk, we produce and content. But there is a comment that I wanted to just, because you had just put words in my mouth, and I said it. So I gotta call out Boss Girl for putting words in my mouth, because I definitely did not at all, like not even one time, say that I'm rooting for losses or I want to see losses. I said I do not believe in the head coach. That's what I'm saying. I do not think he is going to get us to where we need to be. So I'm saying, provided that what I'm thinking is going to happen is happening, then Derek Carr is a good fit. Obviously, if we do win with Aaron Glenn, then Derek Carr is still a good fit. So it's a win-win situation. That's pretty much what I'm going to say. I don't know how that means. Oh, I'm rooting for losses. I've never said that. Like I
the only thing I will say that you said is, like, with Derek Carr, you said, I know it makes sense for us. I don't know why it makes sense for him to, like, come to a loser. And you were sort of,
Yeah, because we stink. How does that mean I'm rooting for a loss? Do you understand how words work?
I understand how words work. I can understand how people are coming to this conclusion that you are leaning into the losing culture and things of that nature by saying, Carr, if you don't mind coming to a loser, and indicating that not only have we been a loser, but that we will continue to be a loser is sort of
the head coach that coached us into our second worst season in the history of the franchise is still the head coach.
Okay.
So there you go. There you go.
Well, everybody, God bless. Like the video. That's a free way to contribute. I appreciate all the people that gifted Maximo Fuentes becoming a Boy Green Coffee Club member on Boy Green Daily this morning. Thank you. DIY for Life gifting a membership. Asher Jettrain gifting 5. DIY for Life with the super chat. And again, the free way to contribute to all of our shows by liking the video and hitting that subscribe button. So people, keep the love. We appreciate it. And Woody will be back next week on Tuesday. We're less than a month away from free agency.
Can't wait, my God. Next week, spoiler alert, tags. All right, people start getting tagged. My guy, Breece Hall, they've been saying a lot of things. They've been throwing the word franchise. They've been throwing around the word transition. They've been throwing a lot of words around my guy. So, hey, the offseason is starting to heat up. Starting to heat up. And, again, happy birthday to Mama. Hope you guys enjoy.
All right, will do. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Take care.